Hello, fuckazoids. Another week, another goddamn bullshit video. So this week we're going to talk about something that's truly near and dear my heart, and that's the Indiana Jones trilogy. It's a fucking trilogy. And more specifically, Raiders of the Lost Ark. So just about like every other geek my age, I started off with Star Wars and Star Trek. That's really what sucked me into science fiction. And I pretty much was obsessed with those like any other geek until 1981 when I saw Raiders of the Lost Ark. That was the first time in years I didn't want to run around with a fucking lightsaber and instead wanted to dig a hole in the fucking desert and carry around a goddamn bullwhip. So just to remind you about Raiders of the Lost Ark before we start this discussion, it's time for an Angry Andy rapid recap. Indiana Jones is hired by the government to recover the Ark of the Covenant before the Nazis do, but before he does that, he has to save his ex-girlfriend Marion before those same Nazis capture her. And then they go to the Middle East where the Nazis fucking capture Marion anyway, but Jones gets the Ark. And then Jones has Marion and the Nazis have the Ark. And then Jones has both Marion and the Ark. And then Nazis have Marion and the Ark. And then they have Marion, Ark, and Jones. And then they open the fucking Ark and it melts all the Nazi faces off anyway. You caught up? All right, so now that we got that over with, our discussion today is about something that was brought up by Big Bang Theory. And you're not going to hear me say anything good about Big Bang Theory very often, so you might want to relish this fucking a little bit. But I happened to see this clip from said show, and it actually kind of surprised me, and I think it'll surprise you too. So let's take a look at it.
I defy you to find a story problem. Here's my jaw. Drop it.
All right. Indiana Jones plays no role in the outcome of the story. Like, if he weren't in the film, it would turn out exactly the same.
Oh, I see your confusion. Now, you don't understand. Indiana Jones was the one in the hat with the whip.
No, I do. And if he weren't in the movie, the Nazis would have still found the Ark, taken it to the island, opened it up, and all died. Just like they did. Let me close that for you.
Shocking, huh? See, here's what's shocking to me about this. Didn't everybody already fucking know this? I mean, yeah, I've seen the movie hundreds of times, and you could say I overanalyzed it, and that's why I realized this, but honestly, I realized it the first or second time I saw the movie, and I was a little kid at the time. So I was going to make this video here because I figured everybody already fucking knew it. But then I went to get my hair cut, and they asked me what the fuck I do for a living. You know, the fucking small talk all the fucking barbers do. So I didn't want to tell them what I really do for a living, so I said I do bullshit fucking videos on YouTube. And he asked me, oh, what's the next one going to be about? And I told him about the supposed flaw in Indiana Jones, and he slowly stopped cutting my hair, and he sat down, and then I had to have someone finish cutting my hair because he was in such emotional turmoil just from that fact. And that's when I realized I'm one of the few motherfuckers who figured this out on his own. So the real question is when you look at that video from Big Bang Theory, they call this a flaw. But is it really a flaw? Okay, let's put it this way. Yes, a movie about Nazis going to find the Ark of the Covenant and at the end getting their fucking faces melted off would be an interesting movie. But it wouldn't necessarily be the same kind of interesting movie that you have in Raiders of the Lost Ark. In order to have a true adventure tale, you really have to have a hero to follow. So you can't sit there and not have a guy to root for, and I don't think a lot of people would root for Nazis. It would just be a flick like Das Boot where everybody fucking dies at the end. So they give you Indiana Jones. And Indiana Jones is the perfect fucking hero for this story. As heroic as he is, and as adventurous as he is, he also fails a lot. He's a very real type of person who you can follow from the beginning of the movie to the end. And what truly makes him heroic in this story is how he changes from the beginning to the end. When you compare him to his main nemesis in the movie, Belloc, you see two guys who are very similar, who are very ruthless in trying to get what they're after and are willing to do almost anything to do it. But instead, you've got Indiana Jones, who is on one side of the ruthlessness, who's willing to put aside his ruthlessness slightly if it means taking an innocent life, whereas Belloc is willing to get rid of things that he cares for in order to get his goal. So let's just look at the movie. When you start off in the movie, there's only really a couple of divergent points that Indiana Jones does. You've got the beginning scene where he goes to Marion for the headpiece of the Staff of Ra. And he goes, offers her money. She says, I have to go get it. She takes it off from around her neck, puts it on a table. Nazis show up to get it from her. She says, hey, there's somebody here with another offer. And then they proceed to torture her to try to get the headpiece. And then, of course, Indiana Jones comes in and saves her. If he wasn't there, chances are Marion would have given him the headpiece, whether it was for money or because she was being tortured. So then the Nazis would have had the headpiece. They would have had both sides, so they get it translated. The staff would be the right height, and they go in the map room and find the Ark, take it to an island, melt all their fucking faces off. So all Indiana Jones does is he becomes a thorn in their side all the way through. And I don't think anybody's going to complain about somebody being a thorn in the side of the Nazis, even if they don't necessarily cause their downfall at the end. So we get to root for him in that way. But it's really a development of Indiana Jones as a character. At the beginning, even though he's a nicer version of Belloc, he's still really close to that line. But after he thinks Marion is dead, he still is willing to leave her in the hands of the Nazis to get the Ark. So even though he's starting to transition, he still hasn't made it there yet. But then by the end of the movie, he's willing to let the Nazis have the Ark just to take Marion and get away safely. Some people argue that he already knew what was going to happen. But honestly, he didn't really come up with it until halfway through the ceremony when he yells at Marion, close your eyes, because you see that moment of realization in his head that everybody's about to fucking melt. So that's not really the point there. The point is that Indiana Jones goes from a kind of ruthless adventurer to a loving hero in the course of this movie, and that's what makes Raiders of the Lost Ark great. So your homework is going to be to watch the other 3 movies in the Indiana Jones trilogy. It's a fucking trilogy. I see you. Watch all the other movies in the Indiana Jones trilogy, and then maybe in a few weeks we'll do a what makes an adventure movie or what makes an Indiana Jones movie great. And we'll compare notes. Well, you'll watch me fucking compare notes while you jerk off to porn in the corner. I don't fucking care. So next week, we've got our Godzilla premiere. Or actually, I'm filming this now. It'll be this week when this airs. And that'll be on Thursday, May 15th. If I can, we should have the information for that all ready to go by the time this video airs. So I'll put it like down here to cover my penis. And that'll give you the info of where to go, what time. I just need to get the theater to actually get back to me on whether it'll be okay for us to bring our equipment. And then the week after that, I'll be doing another guest sermon at the Church of Nerddom. So if you want to tune in to hear me fucking bitch about nerddom again, then more power to you. So, like usual, fuck off and have a nice day.
Especially disappointing when you consider the fact that the stage version was
nothing I can do to dress this movie up. I'm really trying. It's